Good morning, Justin Hinline here in Kyle, Texas. Taking a little training opportunity to talk about first 8 feet, best 8 feet. We want to have a look at this table here and talk about what we want to see when it comes to first 8, best 8, and maybe even what we don't want to see, because I think that's what we've got on our hands here. As you can see, we're leading off the table with this one variety of salvia, which is the shorter of the two varieties on the table. We've got some carnations right behind it, a nice big block of carnations. They're not the most colorful, they're not the brightest plants in the store, but at least they're consistent. Meanwhile, we're leading off with this, and maybe it's because it's a little shorter, but this is certainly not leading off with our best foot. If you come back here to the back half of the table, we've actually, where you have this tiered set with a 3-block leading into 4-block, you almost have a second version of the first 8 feet here because this is so visible. So again, we're leading off with short product into tall product, but I don't know that this is our best look. These might not even belong on the table at all, but the best product, I think, is at the back. That Phormium is probably the brightest looking thing on the table. Yeah, it's the tallest, but it's not that much taller than the Mexican feathergrass, and I think it might make a better presentation on the front edge. So if you see the other side of the table, we're looking at the same problem. So Jose, if you want to come around here to the side and we can look at this before we fix it. Same issue lives here. Yes, the quartz, these are nice plants, and they're quartz, so they're smaller, but there's not enough here to make a block to lead off the front edge of the table. We've got a nice big block of the gallon hostas. So let's take these onesie-twosies to the back. Let's get the big blocks to the front, and I think you'll see that it makes for a much better presentation. I've got a couple of helpers with me today. We're going to go ahead and knock this out, and you'll see how it looks before and after. All right, guys, let's get to it. Give a quick little rundown here of what we just did. So as you can see, the table is looking, in my opinion, much better, even though I spilled a bunch of dirt on the floor that I didn't clean up over here. We've now led off with the biggest block that we have in the store. Again, not really bright, not a lot of color popping on it, but at least it's consistent, and at least we have enough to do 3 wide on the flat columns. Matched up with our carnations here, we led off with our best foot, our brightest product, even though it was a little taller than the other product. We led off with that because it was the shiniest and prettiest of what we had on the table. And as you can see, we even left some questionable product in here. There's some Mexican feathergrass that could probably get scrapped. We certainly could scrap this stuff, but it's at the back of the table. It's not going to be it's not going to lead off the presentation. So yeah, that should probably actually be scrapped. But even if you were to keep it, at least it's back here. And when we come back around to the front of the table, it's out of sight, out of mind. So for a customer walking in this way, across the front main aisle, you can see you lead nicely right into the best looking product. And the same thing on the other side. Look how much better these hostas look. Again, we've got shorter, smaller plants at the back of the table. And yes, we want to consider the low to high concept, but not before the first 8 feet, best 8 feet. We're leading off with our best block here. Took care of the first block on the tier step up as well. And our quartz are still at the back of the table, so they're still in the store. They're still available. They're nice plants, but they live back here now. So there you have it. First 8 feet, best 8 feet. What do you think? Looks a lot better, right? So we've got a color table over here with some opportunity too. Let's have a quick look at this one. Check it out. The coleus is nice. It's bright, but look at the vinca. Look look at the size of the blocks we have here. This is our best foot. We should have vinca on the front of this set. And as a matter of fact, if you look in the back corner, there's white vinca right there. We could simply flip-flop these two, and this table will be much nicer. Now, we could get into a lot of other decisions. We could pull all this forward. Since it's the biggest block, we could lead off with the pink, but we don't need to get overly scientific about it. We just flip-flop these two, and this table looks a lot better. The white will contrast nicely with the white impatiens on the front edge of the other side, and we'll have all vinca on one side of the table. So Mark and Mark. I got my 2 Marks here helping me today. So we're going to go ahead and knock this one out real quick and then see how it looks. Check it out. Now we've got all of our Vinca on one side of the table. Coleus is in the back. Actually looks pretty nice back there. I think if you back up a couple steps, Jose, you'll see that the white offsets nicely, opposite sides, opposite corners of the table. And now I think we've incorporated our first 8 feet, best 8 feet. Again, this is a tiered table, so this isn't technically the first 8 feet of the table. This is, but we wanted to illustrate the idea and the concept here. All the Vincas on one side, beautiful color, leading off with our best foot. Coleus still looks nice, still for sale, still it's in the back. I think we look a lot better now. All right, so that's it. First 8 feet, best 8 feet. Happy merchandising, everybody.